Okay, let's play a quick game. I'm going to read a few phrases out loud, and I want you to honestly count how many of these were repeated in your house growing up. Ready? Money doesn't grow on trees. Stretch your legs only as much as the blanket. The stock market is just for the rich. So how many of those did you tally up? If your answer's 2 or more, you really need to listen closely. Because your current financial struggles, the reasons you just can't seem to break through your income ceiling, they're incredibly likely to be rooted in this deep, invisible childhood programming.
Welcome to this explainer on breaking your money blocks. Today, we are absolutely going to rewire the way you view wealth. Look, if you've ever felt like you're working insanely hard, but the money just kind of slips through your fingers, or if you freeze up when big opportunities come knocking, it is not a lack of skill. It's a mental block. And in this analysis, we're going to dismantle those blocks so you can finally achieve the financial freedom you actually deserve. So here's our game plan. We'll start with subconscious financial programming. Then we'll dive into 3 major mental barriers: the scarcity mindset, the identity conflict, and the self-worth ceiling. And lastly, we'll cover exactly how to rewire your brain for wealth. Let's get into it. Section 1, subconscious financial programming. Think back to when you were learning to walk. You didn't sit down, grab a notebook, and consciously map out a strategy for putting your left foot in front of your right. You just observed your environment. Your brain quietly absorbed the patterns, and eventually, you walked. Well, your deepest beliefs about money, whether it's a massive source of stress or a tool for fun, they were absorbed in that exact same automatic way. This brings us to a really fascinating psychological concept: implicit learning. Basically, it's the process of acquiring knowledge without any conscious awareness or deliberate intent at all. It scientifically validates why our brains operate on this sort of default mode network. When it comes to financial opportunities or taking risks or asking for what you're worth, you might think you're making a purely logical, in-the-moment choice, but usually, your brain is just automatically reacting based on old, unchosen programming from when you were a kid. But here is the absolute proof that you can overwrite this programming. Just look at this number, 66%. That is the percentage of wealthy Indian entrepreneurs who are entirely self-made. They didn't inherit their wealth at all. Take Karsan Bhai Patel, the founder of Nirma, for example. He started as a government employee from a farming background. Instead of buying into that old belief that business is only for the rich, he saw a huge gap in the market for affordable detergent. He viewed money as a natural result of solving people's problems, rather than some limited resource to be hoarded. He broke his childhood programming. So let's figure out what's blocking yours. Section 2, our first major barrier, the scarcity mindset. Let me ask you this. When a friend gets a big promotion or buys a shiny new car, do you feel a genuine thrill for them? Or does your chest get just a little bit tight? When a massive new opportunity pops up, is your immediate reaction excitement, or is it an intense fear of failure and losing what little you already have? If you lean toward that fear and tightness, you've got a scarcity block. There was this wild study in 2013 by researchers at Princeton and Harvard, and it proved that a scarcity mindset, that lingering feeling that there's just never enough, severely reduces our cognitive bandwidth. It literally shrinks your brain's decision-making power, your creative thinking, and your future planning abilities. Which means, once this block is installed, your brain operates in a constant state of panic. And you want to know the craziest part? This happens even if your bank account is actually full. It is exactly why some people can become rich, but still obsessively stress over spending a single dime. And that leads us perfectly into our next psychological hurdle, Section 3, the identity conflict. Get ready because we're going to do a live mental test together right now to see if you have this specific block. Picture these 2 profiles. On one side, we've got a hardworking government employee. He travels by local train, saves literally every penny for his kids' education, and lives super simply. On the other side, we have a wealthy businessman. He wears expensive watches, takes lavish vacations, and frequently parties at night. Be completely honest with yourself for a second. Who did you instantly judge as the worse or less moral person? For the vast majority of us, it's the businessman. Why? Because society, our relatives, and decades of movies have secretly programmed us to equate poverty with goodness and wealth with arrogance or villainy. So the absolutely crucial point is this. You consciously want to be rich, but subconsciously you firmly believe rich people are bad. This creates what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. It's the mental conflict of holding 2 totally contradictory beliefs at the exact same time. And this biological conflict results in massive self-sabotaging inaction. You will magically find excuses to skip negotiations, ignore lucrative business proposals, or avoid applying for promotions. It is not laziness, it's just your brain trying to protect your identity from becoming the villain. Moving on to Section 4, the self-worth ceiling. Have you ever priced your freelance work and intentionally asked for way less than market value? Or maybe you looked at a luxury item, a high-end car, or a massive salary figure, and immediately thought to yourself, no way, I could never deserve that. Well, if you have, I want you to know, you are definitely not alone. Back in 1978, psychologists Pauline and Suzanne documented what we now call imposter's syndrome. They found that an estimated 70% of people feel like frauds who just don't deserve their success. This often stems from childhood comparisons, constantly hearing things like, look at how well your cousin did. Over time, this builds an invisible financial ceiling. It's not a limit on your actual capability, it's a limit set by your perceived lack of worth. If an opportunity sits above that invisible line, your brain just rejects it as unsafe and impossible. Okay, now it is time for Section 5, rewiring your brain for wealth. Look, we can't simply suppress or delete our old childhood beliefs. If I tell you to stop thinking about a pink elephant right now, you're going to think about a pink elephant, right? But what we can do is permanently replace those old beliefs by building brand new neural pathways. We are basically going to reparent our financial brains. So here are the exact psychological cures for our 3 money blocks. To cure that scarcity block, you have to practice expansion. When someone else succeeds, consciously replace your jealousy with intense curiosity. Ask yourself, how did they do it, and what can I learn? To cure the identity conflict, you need evidence. You need to actively seek out proof of highly moral, wealthy role models. Look at incredible educators like Khan Sir or Alok Pandey. They have built immense wealth, but they are undeniably good people making a massive positive impact on the world. By giving your brain this evidence, you completely shatter that rich equals villain myth. Money doesn't make you bad, it just multiplies your existing morality. And finally, how do we cure the self-worth ceiling? This is a really crucial 2-step process. Action followed by realization. Most people have this completely backward. They think, well, once I feel confident, then I'll take action and raise my prices. But the counterintuitive truth is that confidence actually comes after taking action. You have to take action first. Send that pitch, ask for that raise, quote that higher price, even when you are absolutely terrified. Then, when you see the result, you experience the realization that you actually are capable. You must act first to eventually realize your true worth. I want you to take some time today to deeply reflect on these blocks. Which of these 3 barriers is holding you back the most? As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one incredibly powerful question. What will your life look like when you stop treating wealth as a source of stress and start using it as a tool for expansion? Just imagine the freedom, the jobs you could create, and the massive impact you could have on your family and society. It's time to break out of that middle-class trap, build those new neural pathways, and step fully into your potential. Thank you so much for joining me, and keep learning.